Hello everybody, hello my YouTube subscribers, how are you? An update of sorts. I've been back to what I call the Manted Forest, which is up there located here in Ipswich near a cell phone tower. And I must stress it's a very powerful, very large and high powered cell phone tower with its own power station fenced off. I went back there. I'm up here for a few weeks in Ipswich. And as you know, I got very well known for taking pictures up there 5 years or more back in time when I used to live up here in this area, and I got all these mantid looking creatures and entities that many have described and had seen when they were hypnotized and recalled under hypnosis their own abduction experiences. I went back to the forest, or rather drawn back to the forest, and began taking pictures. The photographs, again, I found the beings were there. Only this time something unusual happened, very unusual. I found myself all at once, it was like I was being like hit with something, or some kind of I felt an energy or something, and I had the sensation or the sense that they had given me something, that something had been given to me, and I didn't know what it was, and I had a dream the next night. It begins with, I'm in the setting, my mother's property back in Texas, which I've not been in many years. And there were many people there. And all at once in the dream, there came this female, just over 5 feet tall, full black, with a hood up, like a hoodie. Just her face was exposed. And she had a rather unusual face. And then she had another head here and another head here. She had 3 heads. She was growling and snarling, and she was vicious. She was a demon of some kind. Powerful demon, very powerful. Like something out of Hellraiser, like Clive Barker's Hellraiser, the movie's Hellraiser. It was unbelievably scary. And all at once, something came out of me in the dream. I was running from her. I thought she's going to get me. And while she's running after me in the dream, I felt like I could be possessed by her, like she's done this before. You get like these people, call them entities, they're childlike demons, which are very tiny, and they can be very dangerous. Well, she was quite big, or sizable, and very powerful. And it wasn't like black, it was like a skin-tight black outfit. But without getting religious about it, it was like from some darker faction of the alien hybrids, a warrior of some kind. Anyhow, she was sent to get in me and destroy me. And then all of a sudden something shot out of me. I felt a powerful surge in the dream. And it wasn't about issues of light and darkness. It was just an energy. It was very powerful. And I could hear in the dream in my head the mantids, who often never say anything in English, ever speak anything, then say, "This is the gift we've given you. We've put something in you." I confronted her in the hallway, and immediately there was a hallway, and immediately I just started shouting at her, "I am your master. I am more powerful than you." I was like acting like as if I were a demon too or something. I don't know, but I was very powerful. And at this point, I picked her up and I threw her against the wall. And then her head and shoulder hit this wall in the dream, and it cracked it. It smashed it. So she was very strong physically, not in how she was made. And then I threw her against the other wall, and repeatedly, and then I kicked her, and she fell all the way back onto the floor like something out of Matrix. It's like a karate chop or a punch. I kicked her. She flew all the way back. And then she growled and growled and growled and made some weird, horrible growly sounds and crawled away from me. And in the dream, she stayed at a distance. And I ran to my sister, who had black hair in the dream. This is a sister with black hair. That's all I'll say about that. And I ran to her and I said, I understand. I'm here. I can help. I'm here. I understand. And I went to call somebody at this point. And she says, well, who are you calling? And I says, well, I have to call the police. Or I have to call somebody. I said, you could hear this thing in the distance in the dream, growling and snarling. And I said, I've defeated it. I've knocked it down. I said, they've given me something. Mother shows up and a few other people. And there were lots and lots and lots of people there. They're just kind of wandering around. People I've known from all areas of life, it seemed. And I woke up, suddenly woke up. And I almost felt a sense of anxiety when a sudden wake up, like a panic attack, like a heart palpitation or something, just a sudden sense of wake up. And I thought, well, oh God, oh God. At this point, I felt like I laid there. It was about just after 4 in the morning, and I wasn't sure what was going on, or what that. It was very, very real, very powerful, and I know I could feel this other being with me at the time. I've identified her in many videos as Beniko. She was there. But she was more of an onlooker than anything. She was more just kind of seeing this from the faction of hybrid people that are often, they're very, very normal, very human-like, very human feelings, but very Zen-like quality to them, very, very passive. But again, I know that if it hadn't been for whatever it was I was given, whatever this was that came to get me would have destroyed me, would have entered me, would have annihilated me. And she was sent by both a human faction on Earth from a powerful government that is in alliance with a very dark alien faction on Earth as well. And she's a warrior. She was what Christians would define as a demon. And so she was a very powerful, she'd been sent to just, get in my head, ruin me, tear me up. Had this happened, it made me think of that true story, the exorcism of Emily Rose, where she described her battle with the demons, or they tried to get her, but they didn't. The first couple, they didn't get her, but she was running in her dreams. Eventually they got her, and they possessed her. And they just basically killed her. She died later, and that preacher was put on trial for her death, like wrongful death. So there's that to talk about, and then there's the DNA within me, which was identified many years ago by a doctor in a surgery here in Ipswich, which they said they couldn't identify. And then there's resurfaced memories, of course. I didn't really want to go into detail about it, regarding these really unusual. If you think you think any memories are unusual, this is really, cat people who had encountered me long ago, and they were talking. They were cat-like people. They were cats walking upright. But they weren't aliens. They were from Earth's distant future. They were the descendants of house cats. And they said that my DNA, along with others, had inadvertently got into domestic cats, and had, in fact, it's a virological DNA is what it is. It's some kind of a non-human virus DNA. It attaches to any host, and it enhances that host. And it got into them, and essentially created a whole civilization out of that. It helped upshoot their evolution, and I was one of those that had participated in that, not deliberately, but I have cats. They're cats it was just something that came up that I talk about. And there are some of the UFO sightings and some of the things we see are them back here in time before the fall of man. There was talk of a great virus, a great mass virus that would in fact, and I had spoke of it long ago, long before the 2020s. I'm not trying to scare people. I don't know if Corona, I don't know what's going on with that. But there was a great, they had said there was a great pandemic. And it was really, that was it, all she wrote. And they evolved from that line. They were just left here. Their ancestors were just left here to fend for themselves. And eventually, in time, many died off. Many survived and went on to become their own people. But they weren't aliens. They were just from the future. I say it's a resurfaced memory. It's something that's there. It's more like remembering a dream than anything. So it could just be a pretty incredible dream I had a long time ago. And so I'm going to be very careful about saying that actually happened. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say it's just a very vivid, remembered dream, if you will, of that. And I will talk more about that in later videos about this civilization of the future, of this descendants of the cats, and the role they're playing in everything that's going on. And their presence here was to try to collect as much records. They could time travel. They could come back here from the future. And they were trying to pick up as much extra DNA to help support their own ecosystem and their civilization on Earth. I believe they were coming back from, if you want to call it a dream, okay, somewhere between 1 million to 2.5 million years from now in the future, 2.5, 3 million years in the future. And they don't really have a lot of answers as to exactly what happened from their archaeology. They only could discover remnants that we were here and had been wiped out by a mass virus. And they were survivors that went on to create another line of humankind mixed with machine intelligence. And they would evolve, and their kind were still around, and from their timeline, but they'd left the Earth. They were gone. And some of them were coming back in time as well. But they didn't look like us now. They looked quite different. So there it is. There's my video. Y'all were, one of you very kind followers did ask for a bit of an update. Benico's fine. I'm okay. The Mantans have given me something. They've given me some. I don't know what they've done to me. They've enhanced me somehow. I don't know what they've done. But it's like something very powerful, and it's altered me, and I have it within me. I can feel it. We'll explore later what that is or what's going on in later videos and later updates. Try to get further ideas to what could be happening.